So if you just clicked on this video, you probably just picked up the brand new Sony ZV-E10 II. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to save all of the menu settings from this camera, apply them to an SD card so that you can save them on your computer. So that way, if you ever need a backup, you can use that file from that to reload your settings onto a different camera. But I'm also going to show you how to load the settings from a previous camera onto this camera. So currently I have all the settings that I want in this Sony ZV-E10 II, but I want to put them on this camera. So I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So let's get right into it. So the very first thing we want to do is we want to actually format the SD card. So make sure you don't have anything on your SD card that's important, because this will literally delete everything on your card. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to scroll down to that third icon, which is your shooting menu. We're going to go down to Media, and we're going to go to Format. So then you're going to hit Select Format. And yes, we do want to format this SD card, so everything will be deleted. Okay, so now the formatting is complete. We're going to actually now go scroll down to your yellow toolbox. So you'll see on tab 2, you'll have Setting Reset, which will literally set your camera back to default, and you have Save Load Settings. So we're going to go to the Save Load Settings, and then we're literally just going to hit Save. So it's going to ask you if you want to save a new file. So yes, we do. Camset01, we're just going to go with that. That's fine. And hit Save. Okay, so now we have it saved onto our SD card. We're going to put it into the computer, and we're going to upload the file onto your computer so we can save it in a good spot. All right, so now that we have the SD card on the computer, we're going to double click it. We're going to go to the private folder. We're actually going to go to the Sony folder. So then you're going to see that it says Pro and Setting for the two different folders. We're going to go into the one that says Setting, and you're going to double click. That's the camera, the E10 Mark II, and Camset. So now you have the camset01.dat. That is your entire file to be able to save everything that was on this camera into your computer. So now we're just going to take that, we're going to copy it or take it right off the file, and let's just paste it onto my desktop. Now all I have to do is just put this somewhere safe that I can always come back to it. So that way, if you ever need to reload your file, then you can do that. All right, so now if you're trying to take that file and put it back onto your SD card to put it into a camera, let's say it's a different camera, all you have to do is open up that same folder, go into the Settings tab, go into the Camset, and then literally drag that back into the file. Now, if you're not seeing that folder, all you need to do is literally just save another file onto an SD card, and then it'll be back on the card. So, all right, so the next thing I'm going to show you is how to take a file that you've already saved. Let's just say I'm saving the one from this camera, which has all my settings, and I'm going to put them onto this camera. So I already previously did save this file onto my computer using the same method that we just set up this camera with. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take that file and now drag it back into that menu setting. So literally, we're going to take my one that's called ZV-E10 Mark II, which I custom named, and I'm just going to literally drag this back into my Camset folder, and then you can take that SD card out and put it back in your camera, and we can reload it from there. Now, you don't need to delete the other one. You can keep that in there if you want. If you're never planning on using that one again, you can just delete that as well. But like I did say before, if you don't see that settings folder and the Camset function, all you need to do is just quick save something that's on your camera already onto this SD card, and then when you bring it back in the computer, that file should be there. All right, so now we have the file from this camera on the SD card. All we have to do is eject the SD card and bring it back into the camera, so let's do that now. All right, so now we have the SD card back into the camera, so all we need to do is scroll all the way back down to the toolbox, go to that tab 2, go over to Save Load Settings. Now this time, instead of hitting Save, we're going to hit Load. So as you can see here, we have the two different files here. I have Camset01, this is the one that we literally just saved. And then I have ZV-E10 II, which is the one that I had previously saved from the white camera. So we're going to select the ZV-E10 II. So the next screen is going to ask you, do you want to override all of your previous settings on the camera? So in our case, we do, so we're going to hit OK. So after you hit the select button, it's going to turn your camera off and on. And once it reboots, now you're going to have all the different settings and menu settings from that other file. So now I have the same file on both of these cameras, and it's going to have all the same like function menu stuff. So literally all of your settings that you've saved are all going to be now on both cameras. So it's really just that easy to save your settings from the camera and load different settings from maybe a different camera. So if you guys are ever wanting to set up like two separate cameras as like an A and B camera, now you can literally within a couple minutes set up this camera to be exactly like this camera without having to go through the menu for like an hour and change everything. But also, it's just a really good habit to get into to, like, once you have a camera set the way you want to, just save that file to your computer. That way you can always come back to it for some reason if your camera gets reset or rebooted. So now there is one little caveat to this. Sometimes when Sony does a firmware update, the previous saved file might not work in the new firmware update. So in that case, you might have to actually reset up your camera. But most of the time, that camera save function will still work unless they change something dramatic on the camera. So I will be putting on a full video shortly here of doing a comprehensive full menu setup on this camera. So if you guys like to follow along to that, please hit that subscribe button. And as well as I will be showing you guys how to use that log shooting setting and how to import LUTs into this camera. So once again, just hit that subscribe button to follow along to those videos. If this video has been a help, you guys hit that like button. If you have any other questions too, please leave me a comment down below. As always, guys, we'll catch you on the next one. Later.